Sunday, 6:32 p.m., Brookfield suburbs, Ohio. The air was thick with late summer heat, clinging to everything like a secret no one wanted to speak aloud. From her window, Jessica Morgan watched the neighbors' sprinkler arc rhythmically over their manicured lawn. The soft hiss of water and the distant hum of cicadas were the only sounds breaking the quiet suburban monotony. She leaned back on her worn leather chair, iced coffee sweating beside her, and exhaled slowly. For a brief moment, life felt calm. Her apartment was small but cozy, neutral walls, a scattering of succulents, and framed quotes her mom used to repeat. Her favorite hung over the TV. Trust, but verify. She never thought much of it until lately. Jessica was 27, single, and balancing two part-time jobs while finishing her psychology degree online. Her car, a silver 2014 Honda Civic, was her lifeline. It wasn't just about getting to class or shifts at the bookstore and the clinic. It was independence.
Sanity.
Proof that she hadn't completely lost control. Down the hallway, she could hear the muffled bass of hip-hop leaking from Derek's room, her younger brother by 2 years. They'd lived together for the past 6 months since their dad passed away suddenly and left them both the modest house they grew up in. At first, it made sense: split rent, shared grief, familiarity. But the cracks were already showing. Derek was impulsive, unpredictable, a charmer when it suited him, manipulative when it didn't. Always with a new hustle: crypto today, sneaker reselling tomorrow. Jessica never knew what was truth or just another one of his tales. She checked her phone. 6:34 p.m. Her Civic should have been parked in the driveway by now. She had come home early, not expecting to find the driveway empty. She furrowed her brow, brushing it off. Maybe Derek borrowed it. He had a habit of doing that without asking. He was supposed to be looking for a job after all. Still, he hadn't texted her, not even a heads up. "Derek?" she called down the hallway. No answer. Just bass. She sighed, tossed her keys on the counter, and kicked off her sandals. The pit in her stomach whispered unease, but she smothered it. Later that night, as she curled up on the couch watching reruns of Criminal Minds, a small thought tickled the back of her mind. She hadn't seen her spare key in days. She stood up, walked into the hallway, and opened the drawer where they usually kept extra keys, chargers, and random tools. Empty. "Hey," she banged on Derek's door. "You took my car again?" A beat of silence. Then, the door creaked open slightly. Derek peeked out, hoodie half on, eyes flickering nervously. "Nah," he said too quickly. I thought you were out." "Clearly I'm not. Where's my car?" He scratched his head.
Oh, right.
"Yeah, I had to run to Malik's place. You weren't using it, so figured it was cool." She narrowed her eyes. "Without telling me?" He shrugged. "My phone died." She didn't press. Not yet. But she watched him a little longer than usual as he retreated into his room. The next morning, 7:48 a.m., Monday. Jessica stood at the kitchen window, coffee in hand, staring at the empty driveway again. No Civic. No note. No text. Derek was nowhere to be found either. She checked her phone. No messages, no missed calls. Anxiety buzzed in her chest. She texted him. "Where's my car?" Read at 7:49 a.m. No reply.
She called.
Straight to voicemail. Jessica tried to stay calm. Maybe he ran an errand again. Maybe she was overreacting. But this wasn't like a quick trip to the corner store. This was different. Her breath hitched when she saw the bank alert on her phone. $6,500 deposited to checking. Pay 2 car auto transfers. What the hell? She blinked, reread the line, and sat down hard. Pay 2 Car was a used car marketplace in town. She knew the name. Her friend Sam had used them last year to sell an old Ford. And the deposit? That amount was suspiciously close to what her car was worth. Her mouth went dry. She opened her banking app and clicked for transaction details. The sender name was D. Morgan. "Derek," she whispered. The room spun for a second. Was this a mistake? A joke? A refund from something?
No.
The Civic wasn't in the driveway. The spare key was missing. Derek was acting cagey. And now there was money in her account with a name that didn't belong to her. She stared at the framed quote on the wall again. Trust, but verify. Her fingers moved before she could think. She opened her email and searched her inbox for anything from pay to car. Nothing. Then, she opened Derek's door. Empty. His laptop gone. His closet half emptied. And on the nightstand, a folded piece of paper. Her name was scrawled across it in familiar, sloppy handwriting. Jessica's fingers trembled as she unfolded the note left on Derek's nightstand. The paper smelled faintly of cologne and cheap weed. His handwriting was rushed, like he wrote it in a hurry.
Jess.
Sorry if you're mad. I had to do this. You'll understand soon. I took care of the car, got us some cash. I'll pay you back. Don't freak out. I love you.
D.
Her pulse hammered in her ears. I took care of the car? She read the line over and over, nausea bubbling in her stomach. She dashed back to the kitchen, phone in hand, and called Pay 2 Cars customer service. A chipper automated voice greeted her, offering a dozen menu options before she slammed her finger on the 0 key. Hi, you're speaking with Kevin, said a tired-sounding rep. How can I help you? Hi, my name is Jessica Morgan. I think someone may have sold my car through your site without permission. All right, ma'am. Do you have a transaction number or a listing ID? No, she snapped, breath shaky. But I got a deposit from you, $6,500, and I believe my brother used my car and name to make the sale. The car is a 2014 silver Honda Civic. Ohio plates. Please, can you check? He paused. Okay, let me look that up. She paced the room, each second dragging like an eternity. After what felt like forever, Kevin returned. Yes, ma'am. That car was listed last week. Final sale went through yesterday. Name on the seller profile was Derek Morgan, but the registration matched a Jessica Morgan. Is that you? Her voice cracked.
Yes.
But I didn't authorize anything. Ma'am, I'm afraid if the seller provided matching title info, we assumed consent. Jessica collapsed into the dining chair, hand over her mouth. You transfer the title?
Yes.
The buyer took the vehicle yesterday evening. The sale is finalized. Her throat tightened. She wanted to scream, cry, throw something, but her body was frozen. Is there anything else I can help you with? Kevin asked awkwardly. She hung up without answering. He sold my car. My own brother sold my car. Without a word. Without permission. Jessica's mind reeled, spinning through every recent moment. His sketchy side hustles, late-night calls, weird energy. All of it suddenly made horrible sense. This wasn't a mistake. This was betrayal. Her phone buzzed. Incoming call, private number. She hesitated, thumb hovering over the screen. She answered.
Jess.
It was Derek. His voice sounded muffled, maybe from a car or a busy street. Where are you? She said, her voice cold. I'm in Chicago. Don't be mad. Listen, I had to get away for a while. I needed quick money. Things were tight. You sold my car, Derek, she snapped. You didn't even tell me. I was gonna. I didn't want you to freak. You're always so controlling about stuff. Her vision blurred. Because you can't be trusted. You used my name. You forged the paperwork. It's not like I stole it, he said weakly. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other and vanish. Silence. Then, you don't understand what's going on, Jess. There's more to this. I didn't just sell the car to make money. I had to. People were looking for me. What are you talking about? Another pause. I messed up. With someone bad. I thought I could fix it without dragging you into it. Oh, great job, Derek. You dragged me in anyway. You used my car, my name, and now I'm stuck here without a way to get to work or school. He breathed heavily into the line. You weren't supposed to find out like this. Jessica's voice dropped, venomous and low. You better pray I never do. The call cut off. The rest of the day blurred. Jessica tried to keep her head above water, but waves of confusion, anger, and fear slammed into her one after another. Around 4 p.m., she walked to the library, A 40-minute trek in blistering heat, just to use the internet without Derek's spyware-riddled laptop. She started digging. She opened Derek's social media accounts. His Instagram was inactive, but his Twitter was alive with cryptic retweets and DMs. A lot of mentions of someone named Crane. She didn't know that name, but something about it felt off. Jessica copied the username, @Crane4U. On a gut instinct, she checked Reddit and found something horrifying. A subreddit called r/scam by Crane, filled with posts about a scammer named Crane who tricked people into crypto deals, fake car flips, and resale fraud. Dozens of stories from people claiming they lost money, got blackmailed, or worse. And one of the top comments on a recent post? Derek Morgan's name came up again. He's either helping Crane or being used. Either way, stay away. Jessica's stomach dropped. Her brother wasn't just involved in shady deals. He might be entangled in something way bigger and way more dangerous. Back home, she found an envelope taped to the inside of her closet door. It hadn't been there before. Inside, a flash drive. No note. No label. She plugged it into her laptop, heartbeat accelerating. There were 3 files. 1. A screenshot of a bank transaction. $15,000 moved from an unknown sender to Crane Trust, Belize. 2. A blurry photo of Derek at a gas station, talking to a man in a black hoodie. 3. An audio file titled play_now, MP3. Jessica double-clicked the audio. Derek's voice, panicked, whispering, "If you're hearing this, I'm probably already gone. Crane found me. I had no choice, Jess. I had to sell the car. I owed him. Please don't trust anyone. He's watching. He said he'd hurt you if I didn't pay. I didn't want to drag you into this." A distant voice cuts in, muffled, distorted. "You think you can run, Derek? You don't even know who you're dealing with." The recording ended. Jessica's hand flew to her mouth. This wasn't just about a stolen car. It was about survival. And now, she was in Crane's crosshairs too. Jessica barely slept that night. Her bedroom felt foreign now, like it had absorbed the danger her brother left behind. Every creak in the walls, every rustle of wind outside the window, made her heart lurch. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, staring at Derek's last call log, listening again and again to that cryptic recording. "Crane found me. He said he'd hurt you."
She should have gone to the police.
She knew that. But how could she explain a forged car sale, offshore accounts, and a phantom man named Crane without sounding like she was spinning a conspiracy theory? She did the only thing she could. She printed the files from the flash drive, hid copies in different spots, under the floorboard, inside a cereal box, and in a sealed envelope behind the toilet tank. Paranoia had fully wrapped its fingers around her. If something happened to her, someone had to find the truth. Mid-morning, she went to her friend Natalie, a law student who worked at a legal aid center downtown. Jessica hadn't told her everything yet, just enough to test the waters. "So, your brother used your name and title to sell your car?" Natalie asked, frowning. Jessica nodded, biting her lip. "That's identity theft."
Forgery. Fraud.
"I mean, it's your family, but this could go criminal." Jessica stared at the scratched table between them. "What if I told you there's a man named Crane behind all of this? That Derek owed him, and now this guy's threatening me?" Natalie's eyes sharpened. "Then you need to talk to the cops." "I can't. Derek warned me. He said Crane's watching." Natalie leaned in, lowering her voice. "Jess, if someone's watching you, you're already in danger. Staying quiet won't make you safer." Jessica hesitated. "I just need more proof. Something solid. I found people online who were scammed by Crane, but nothing direct." Natalie paused. "Then maybe we find something direct." That evening, they hatched a plan. Natalie would pose as a seller on Pay2Car and try to bait Crane's network into revealing themselves. They'd use fake documents and a decoy vehicle. Jessica would monitor activity from the sidelines using her laptop. It felt like they were playing detective in a thriller movie, except this was real. 2 days passed with nothing but silence and low-level anxiety buzzing in the background. Then, on the 3rd day, Natalie got a message. User, BlackNova_88.
Hey.
You still selling the Camaro? I know a guy who moves things fast. He flips cars in 48 hours.
Cash.
10% commission. You in. Jessica froze. That username wasn't just random. She remembered it from Derek's Twitter DMs. BlackNova_88 had messaged him 3 weeks ago. Crane doesn't like waiting. Handle it. Jessica's chest tightened. It's him. Natalie nodded. Let's push him. See if we can get a name, an address, something. She replied, feigning interest, asking for more details and how the cash part works. Within an hour, they got a response. You don't meet Crane. Crane meets you. Jessica and Natalie exchanged a look. But someone will contact you. You'll know when. That night, Jessica's power went out. She stood frozen in the kitchen, staring at the microwave clock as it blinked off. At first, she thought it was just a storm, but the neighborhood lights were still glowing outside. Only her house had gone dark. And then her phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number. Stop digging, Jessica. This is your only warning. Her blood turned to ice. She closed the blinds, locked every window, grabbed the kitchen knife, and retreated to her room. But the fear kept crawling in. By morning, the power was mysteriously back on. Everything worked. The lights. The microwave. Even the porch light blinked like normal. But the message still sat on her phone, mocking her. Proof that someone knew where she lived. Proof that they were watching. Jessica made a decision. She was done being passive. If Derek was involved in something twisted, she had to know how deep it went. She hacked into his cloud storage. Derek had always been lazy with passwords. She tried his birth date backward, and it worked. There were dozens of files. Screenshots of Cash App transactions. Lists of names.
Codes.
Voice notes with half-finished sentences like, Crane said it's either the Civic or the Blood. They're watching Jess now. I messed up. I messed up bad. One file caught her eye. A photo of a warehouse. Big, gray, and grimy. The file name. Last drop, 48-hour flip. She reverse-searched the image. Location. Cleveland Industrial Zone. Jessica stared at it for a long time. Was this where Crane operated? Was this where her car had gone? That evening, she told Natalie. I'm going there. I need to see it. Natalie begged her not to. What if they're there? What if you're caught? I'll be careful. I'll take photos. If something happens, you have everything. Jessica dressed in black, packed her phone, a spare battery, and slipped into the night. The drive wasn't far. Natalie insisted on coming and parked a block away while Jessica approached the warehouse on foot. It was huge, barbed wire on top, no signs or company logos. Just one rusted metal door on the side, slightly ajar. Jessica snapped photos from a distance. And then movement. A man walked out talking on a phone. His back was turned, but something about his voice. She moved closer, barely breathing. She found the flash drive. Doesn't matter. By tomorrow night, it's done. We switch again. No loose ends. Her heart stuttered. He turned, and her blood turned cold. It was the man from the gas station photo. The one with Derek. And in his hand, he held her old car keys. The red keychain with the J she'd gotten for graduation. He tossed them to someone inside and disappeared into the shadows. Jessica's hands trembled as she backed away from the warehouse wall, her phone still recording. Every instinct screamed at her to run, to vanish, to pretend none of this had ever happened. But she couldn't. That man, the one with her car keys, had spoken about a switch. About eliminating loose ends. She was the loose end. She ducked behind a stack of rusted pallets and dialed Natalie. No answer. Another attempt. Voicemail again. Jessica cursed under her breath. She scanned the alley for any sign of movement, then crouched low and bolted back toward Natalie's parked car 2 blocks down. As she neared the vehicle, Natalie suddenly flung open the door, wide-eyed and panicked. Get in. Jessica slid in, slamming the door behind her. We have to go. Now. They drove in silence for nearly 5 minutes before Natalie finally said, What happened? Jessica looked straight ahead, voice flat. He was there. The guy from the photo. He has my keys. Natalie's knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. Oh my God, Jess. Jessica replayed the man's words in her mind. By tomorrow night, it's done. Whatever they were planning, they were on a deadline. And she was out of time. Back at Natalie's apartment, Jessica laid everything out on the kitchen table. The flash drive, the screenshots, the files from Derek's cloud storage, and now, video footage of the man with her keys. I need to know why, Jessica whispered. Why sell my car? Why forge my name? What was Derek hiding? Natalie paced back and forth. We don't even know if Derek's alive, Jess. Jessica shook her head.
He is.
I feel it.
He called me.
He left that voicemail. And he mentioned Crane like he was terrified. Natalie stopped pacing. Then let's use the fear. Let's make Crane come to you. Jessica blinked.
How?
We go public. Social media. Forums. Anywhere they're watching. Leak something just enough to rattle them. Make them think you have the full story, and you're about to expose it. Jessica hesitated. It was reckless. Dangerous. But it might work. That night, she posted a carefully worded message on Reddit and a private Facebook group connected to scam recovery victims. If your vehicle was resold, without consent, or you had mysterious offshore payments linked to Pay2Car, DM me. I have information and proof. This is bigger than one sale. She included a blurred screenshot of the warehouse and hinted at federal involvement. It was bait and someone took it. Within hours, Jessica got a direct message from a burner account. You don't understand what you're doing. You're going to get someone hurt. Jessica replied immediately. I already did. I just want my brother back. No response. Minutes passed. Then another ping. Meet me. Tonight. No cops. 11:45 p.m. Millstone Overpass. Come alone. Natalie's jaw dropped. This is a trap. Jessica nodded. Of course it is. But it's our only shot. 11:40 p.m. The night air was biting cold under the Millstone Overpass, concrete and silence pressing down on everything. Jessica stood alone under the flickering yellow light, heart pounding like thunder in her chest. At exactly 11:45, a black Escalade pulled up. Doors locked. Windows tinted. Jessica's feet were frozen to the ground. She clenched her fists to stop them from shaking. The passenger side window rolled down. A man leaned out, not the same one from the warehouse. Late 30s, sharp jawline, eyes like flint. You Jessica? She nodded once. He stepped out slowly. Name's Cole. Derek sent me. Jessica's breath caught. Where is he? Cole hesitated, then stepped closer. He's alive. But not for long if you keep poking the hornet's nest. I want to see him. Cole's expression was unreadable. He's in hiding. Under Crane's thumb. He tried to get out. That's why he used your car. To stall. To buy time. Jessica's voice cracked. Why me? Why sell my car? Cole looked away. Because Crane threatened your life if Derek didn't comply. Selling your car, staging the theft was the only way to fake compliance. But then you started digging. Jessica's fists clenched. Crane knows I have the files, doesn't he? Cole nodded grimly. And he wants them gone.
A beat.
I'm not handing them over, Jessica said, louder now. I want Derek. I want him safe. And I want Crane behind bars. Cole studied her for a moment, then said, Then you'll need to move fast. Crane doesn't just vanish, he erases. People. Trails. Evidence. He slid a burner phone into her hand. One call. That's all you get. You'll hear Derek's voice. After that, it's all on you. Before she could say another word, Cole slipped back into the Escalade and drove off. Jessica stared at the phone. She dialed. One ring.
Two.
Then, Jess? Jess, it's me. I'm okay. I'm okay for now. Please don't trust anyone. Crane, he's in deeper than click. The call cut. Jessica stood frozen in the dark, phone clutched to her chest. And then she saw it. Across the street. A figure. Watching her.
Tall.
Unmoving. backlit by a distant street lamp. And then it turned away, vanishing into the shadows. The phone call had been enough to send a cold shiver down Jessica's spine. Derek's voice, the one she had longed to hear for days, was now laced with fear, desperation, and a chilling warning. Don't trust anyone. Those words echoed in her mind as she stood there, feeling the weight of the situation pressing in from all sides. Her mind raced with questions, the most pressing being, what now? The figure across the street was still fresh in her memory. It wasn't just a random stranger. It felt too deliberate. Someone had been watching her for far too long. A chill ran through her as she turned back to the Escalade's disappearing taillights, the conversation with Cole playing over and over in her head. They were all involved. Everyone. And the deeper she dug, the closer she came to an answer that threatened to unravel everything she thought she knew about her brother, Derek, and the life she had spent years building. Inside Natalie's apartment, Jessica slammed the door behind her, panting, still clutching the burner phone. She threw it onto the coffee table with a loud thud and sank into the nearest chair, her hands shaking. Natalie watched her, silently offering comfort by being there. That's all she could do now. The storm that was raging inside Jessica's mind was too overwhelming for anyone to fix. But Natalie was her anchor, the one who stood by when everything else was falling apart. You heard his voice, Natalie said, her voice barely above a whisper. Derek's alive. Jessica nodded, but didn't speak. The tears she had been holding back threatened to spill, but she refused to let them fall. She had no time for tears. No time for vulnerability. Now what? Natalie pressed. I don't know, Jessica muttered, her fingers running through her hair. The more I get involved, the more danger I'm in. But if Derek's alive, he's still stuck in this mess. And I can't just leave him there. Natalie stepped forward, putting a hand on Jessica's shoulder. Then we keep going. But we, both of us, need a plan. We need to stop running scared and start playing their game. Let them make the first move. Jessica looked up at her best friend, her heart heavy with the weight of what they were about to do. But Natalie was right. There was no turning back now. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about her brother, the people who had hurt him, and the people she was about to confront head-on. The next day, Jessica's phone buzzed with a message. You went too far, Jessica. Now, everyone is watching. You've made a mistake. It was from an unknown number. She didn't need to be told who it was. The threat was real, and it was personal. But Jessica didn't flinch. She didn't feel fear anymore. She was done hiding. She was done being afraid. Natalie stood by her side as they packed their things and loaded up Jessica's belongings. They would leave the apartment and lay low for a while. A few days, maybe a week. But the plan was set. In the following days, Jessica's life turned into a whirlwind of carefully calculated risks. With Natalie's help, they managed to get hold of more vital information. Each discovery felt like a small victory. Each clue led them closer to Derek, but each victory came at a cost. There was no time for second-guessing, no time for doubts. She moved fast, stayed hidden in plain sight, always one step ahead of whoever was tracking her. Derek's calls came sporadically, but each time, his voice seemed more desperate. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, Derek had said once. I'm not alone in this, and neither are you. It was the closest thing to an admission of guilt she had heard. But Derek was only trying to survive, to make sense of the nightmare he'd been thrust into. Still, she couldn't shake the nagging suspicion that there was more to the story than he was letting on. As the days turned into weeks, the pressure began to mount. The phone calls, the texts, the constant surveillance, all pointed to one undeniable truth. Jessica wasn't just a victim of circumstance. She was a pawn in a much bigger game. And the man who held the strings was none other than Crane. Jessica's search for answers eventually led her to a dead-end alley, a literal one. She found herself back at the warehouse, staring at the rusted metal door, its hinges creaking as she pushed it open. The inside was empty, save for the echo of her footsteps. Then she saw it, a single photograph taped to the wall. It was of Derek, but not the Derek she knew. The man in the photo was wearing a different face, an expression colder than the one she remembered. And beside him stood Crane, his hand resting comfortably on her brother's shoulder. It hit her. Derek wasn't just involved. He was the one orchestrating everything. He had been playing her this entire time. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized the ultimate betrayal. Her brother wasn't the victim. He was the villain. And now, with Crane's empire of lies collapsing, it was all about to come crashing down. As Jessica turned to leave, she felt the presence again, the one she had sensed so many times before. A shadow in the corner of her eye. Someone was watching her. Someone who had been waiting for her to discover the truth. And that someone stepped forward, revealing their identity. Derek. Did you really think I wouldn't find you, Jessica? He said, his voice flat. Her heart raced. No, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I didn't sell your car, Derek continued, his tone cold. I sold you.